So, as promised a couple months ago, I'm going to do a little bit more extensive video about how to be using this card, Grotto. Grotto is a duration card, and you can see the text here, +1 action. Set aside up to 4 cards from this on your hand face down at the start of your next turn. You discard them, and then you get to draw as many from your deck, and so you get to set aside some stuff, and you get a bigger next hand as a result of it. And this is a very, very good card. It is one that will help you, keep up pace, help you win games. And I'm going to talk maybe a little bit about why, and it's definitely something that you're going to want to buy most of the time that it appears. Specifically, you're going to want 2 of them. So I'm actually gonna do this end of the game to start of the game. So we're going to start with at the end. What does Grotto promise you? So at the end of the game, Grotto promise you consistency. What this is going to look like, and we'll do an illustration after this. So you're going to set aside 4 bad stop cards. You don't want to be setting aside your good stop cards. That's terrible. Like you want to be playing your good stop cards. Gold, whatever. You don't want to be setting that aside. You want to be setting aside province, estate, maybe some coppers you have left over. And what this is going to let you do is you're going to start with a big hand. Big hands, 9 cards. It's much easier to find a village and smithy together than in 5 cards, or whatever else you need. Maybe it's a non-terminal draw card that you only have a few of. Storyteller, for example, much easier to find that. Those stop cards that you set aside, you remember we're discarding them. They're going to be in your discard pile, and so as you go playing whatever draw card it is, whether it's the village smithy or maybe it's the storyteller. Those terrible cards, the provinces, estates, copper, whatever, they're sitting in your discard pile, and so you're going to have a much easier time drawing through the rest of stuff. And then, in a perfect world, although they're sitting in your discard pile now, you're actually able to draw enough, without them being in that deck that interfering with your draw, that you're able to set them aside again. So just look at a kind of diagram. We have our stop cards. Those are these for this is what an American stop sign looks like. So stop card. We also have green. We're calling these go cards. This is like your village, your draw, cantrips, whatever. Things that are not making it such that you don't draw. They're things that will get you further into your draw pile. And so this is your start of turn setup. I've marked the cards we've set aside here. These are your bad cards. They go into your discard pile. Maybe this hand was going to be able to kick off anyways. It has two of these decent cards, but after going up to 9 cards, because we nicely set aside these 4, we're much more confident in it. It has 4 of these things. Like maybe this was smithy and smithy, and now it's smithy, village, and so this is much better, much more likely to have those cards that make your deck work than this 5 card hand was. So now that you have this great starting hand, you can easily play out your good cards, draw through the deck, and even in an ideal world, as we said, draw back to these things that were in the discard pile. You can see they're marked in the hand right there. You also have your second Grotto. You wanted a second Grotto so you could do this every turn, and we're just going to go ahead and set aside those things again. Sitting right here, we play out the rest of our turn, and here's the next turn. Gosh, that only having one good card well, maybe not good card, only having one card that's going to help you draw in your starting hands may be a little bit scary, but hey, you're going to be doing this again. You're going to go up to 9 cards, and probably those will make you kick off your next turn. So this is really nice. You're taking these bad cards. You're basically turning what would otherwise be something that's bad in your deck. Provinces, although they're great for points, are not the greatest thing to have in your deck, and you're actually turning them into a consistency asset. So that's really nice. Getting there. We have kind of what happens in the middle of the game. Again, we're going to want to be setting aside a lot of bad cards. This is maybe like turns, just as an example, this is like turns 6 through maybe 10 or 11. Grotto games are pretty fast, so it's usually going to be somewhere around there. You're going to set aside, four bad cards. Again, you want to be playing your good cards. You do want to be setting aside really as much as possible when you're able to, just because, if we go back here, if you're only setting aside 2, you're only going up to 7 cards. It's not as amazing. It's almost draw neutral to be setting things aside. So, just holding like more bad cards is actually okay. They go into your discard. They're not interfering. And you get that start of turn consistency boost. If you only had 2, you'd have to draw just as much. So, just to note that you do really want to be setting aside 4. You draw at the start of your turn. In the middle of the game, you're less concerned with, drawing through the deck, and you're more concerned with, seeing all of your important cards. So, like, if we have, imagine a deck with, I don't know, say 12 cards in it. We've set aside 4 with Grotto. At the start of your turn, you may only be seeing like 5 out of the 8 remaining cards, in your hand. So, if you have something that you really like, maybe that's a Gainer, Ironworks, Groom, maybe it's a Trasher, maybe it's a payload card, could be like a collection, maybe it's an attack, maybe it's a witch that you really want to be playing every turn. You're gonna see it, right? Like, you have these 4 cards set aside, they discard, you have your remaining 8, you're seeing all 8 of those cards that are remaining, and so you do get to see, whatever it is that you really do want to be playing, and you play it. Ideally, you do have a second Grotto, and so you're able to set aside 4, again, bad stop cards, and repeat this cycle. You do get to see that important card every turn. Maybe it's not the same best 4 cards this time around, but, that's pretty decent, and you do need to make sure when you're doing this that you keep finding your second Grotto, and so what that's going to mean, as you start to put in good cards, you do want to actually be buying things that help your deck. Either those good cards have to be things that draw. You keep maintaining your ability to find that second Grotto in now however many cards you have. Maybe it's 11 cards that are in your deck. You need to draw through all 11 cards, or you get to trash every turn, and so. Even though you're adding a card to the deck, you're also subtracting a bad one, and so you get to, maintain that nice 12 card deck size. And so, again, we'll look at a little diagram here, just to get a better idea of what's happening and compare to, our previous case. So again, we're going to mark these 4 stop cards that we have set aside. It's a smaller deck. We're seeing the Grotto in the starting hand. We have this special card, purple triangle half filled, that is something that we really do want to be playing every turn. It's this amazing thing that's making our deck work. And so in this case, I think this is actually the 12 card example. There's 4 set aside here, 5 sitting right here, and actually based on what happens here, 3 in the draw pile. And so we discard these. They actually don't sit in the discard pile here. There's only 3 cards in this draw pile, so we do get to actually draw one of them. We don't have a whole lot of ability to see this, or draw through the rest of this. So, we play our cantrip maybe, or whatever this card is. I guess I lied. There should be a second one here. But anyways. We get to play our really important card, maybe these are coppers, treasures, whatever, and we're good to go. We maybe trash one of these cards, we're able to, continue, and this is 8 cards again. We trashed one of them, and we see our special card again. It won't necessarily be here, it could be in here, but we're confident that once we discard these, we will get back to it. And I'm just going to take a note here that these are not the same cards as we set aside earlier. Like we're not drawing through, but it's still good enough. We're going to see our special card again, and we're going to get to play it. And so one thing of note is you will see the less than 5 cards here. Note, you actually can be carrying stuff in the discard pile here, and that's okay. But you really want to make sure that when you are doing this grotto in this kind of middle game, you are going to trigger a shuffle when you draw your next hand, because otherwise what's going to happen is, your special card's going to go into the discard pile in kind of this, thing we can't see here. Your special card's going to go into your discard pile. You're going to have 5 cards here. You're going to have 4 cards here. And what's going to happen is that although you have a hand that, is going to increase to 9, rather than have the special card, sitting somewhere in either this hand or your draw pile, what's going to happen is that you're going to have these 4 things join up with all these cards that you've played and turn into your draw pile. And so that's actually terrible, because it makes you much less likely to see your special card. It makes you much less likely to see your second grotto. And so you really want to make sure that you're of a deck size, of drawing ability, such that you have fewer than 5 cards in hand. So that's what your middle's going to look like. And then you do have to get there. You do actually have to get your grottos. We've been doing this, and we've already somehow had 2 grottos. And so the start of the game, usually, you're getting grotto. Like it's good. It's a card that, as we see, can in the end of the game make you very, very consistent. And in the middle of the game, you're going to be seeing your key cards every turn. So clearly we want it. And so usually we do want to open one. You usually want to open 1 though. Although we get 2, when you open 1, you can also open it with something good. Maybe we need that trasher such that we're going to have our ability to see grotto. Maybe we're going to, get our gainer. Specifically, if you get a gainer, or you get something that is silver-like, that is, produces 2 coins, it can allow getting a second grotto much more easily, just because, if you collide the grotto with, this thing, you can set aside, a bunch of stuff and still be able to get the second grotto with it. Like this kind of, we'll call it a runt turn, where you have to be setting aside a bunch of stuff to get, this going, where you are setting aside a lot and getting to see a lot of cards, is going to also be able to buy grotto. You want to set aside as much as possible as early as possible. What as much as possible is going to mean in your turns 3 and 4 is basically still getting the second grotto before shuffling. So, if you see the grotto turn 3, often what that's going to mean is you are going to set aside 2 things, maybe 3 if you see your gainer silver-like. And what's going to happen is that you have 2 coppers left. You're going to buy grotto with them. Maybe you don't trigger a shuffle in the next turn, but you are getting that second grotto. Again, turn 4, depending on what you saw turn 3, maybe you did something amazing turn 3, bought a 5 cost. Maybe you did get your second grotto turn 3, and if you did get your second grotto turn 3, maybe you're setting aside everything with grotto. When do you want to wait? Usually you want to open grotto, but when do you want to wait? When you can do the same thing with other cards. And what I mean is the same thing as, seeing this key card every turn. So, I'm even going to say that there are exactly 2 cards, that applies to. One is Chapel, and the other is not actually a card, it's Donate. And, so that's really, those are really the exceptions. Even something that's a good trasher like Steward, it's good to open grotto with, just because it doesn't trash fast enough that, this is happening. You may not be seeing your key card every turn, just trashing down with Steward. Chapel and Donate, that will happen. So, and I'm saying wait here because, even if you are able to donate, even if you are able to, Chapel down to something really nice, if your deck looks at all normal, eventually, this will still be able to happen. Eventually you will be getting green cards. Probably you still have some copper left over for economy. So you still can get that consistency benefit, especially as Chapel. Maybe you're going to grotto the Chapel towards the end. It just means that opening it doesn't actually get you, this benefit from the middle of the game. So from here, I'm going to do a little demonstration in a grotto game. So here we have a random board that features, grotto. This one was generated randomly. I generated 3 and just picked out the one that I thought was going to illustrate the best of those. And so let's go ahead and see this stuff in action. So, we said starting off that we want to probably open Grotto, and we want to open something that is going to, it's open something good, something that's going to help us get the second Grotto in there. And in this case, there's kind of two options. We're talking silver likes here. There's patron, +2 coins, and then broker has a lot of text, but if you really concentrate hard, this piece right here is basically +2 coins. When you put it on his state, it trashes, and so the start here is going to be Grotto broker, and we'll see what situation we end up in here. So this is one of these situations where it's maybe not the cleanest, but given that next turn is going to be hitting a bigger number, we're going to go ahead and set aside these 2 estates and buy our second Grotto this turn 3. And so then we can broker this. I'm actually going to take favors here. This is actually kind of unusual. You usually don't take favors from Marker Town, but I'm only trying to hit 5 here, so we're going to end up taking favors. The card I'm going to buy is going to be Courtier. There's something that's longer term here where the deck we're trying to build draw coming out of Sheepdog, so we're going to want to be making some midterm gains. Courtier is also going to help with plus buy. There's lots of multiple types here, so do that. We don't see a Grotto yet. That's fine. This will just be coins, and we'll start putting in this bit of draw again. This, we can go action coins, and here's where we're going to start setting aside. Like we could get something else big, but in this case we're going to start setting aside basically as much as we can, and just keep adding these sheepdogs. All right, so now we're in a situation where we can kind of start to see this mid-turn stuff happen. If you're keeping track, like the cards that we really want to see each turn are like Courtier, Broker. You can see we discarded 3 coppers there, so let's go ahead and we'll do our action. We'll gain a gold to activate these sheepdogs, right? We can set aside a lot with the Grotto. It's still going to be better to be trashing a state here, so set aside all of that. We can broker an estate for coins, and here I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to buy a village. So we've now gotten to where we're setting aside lots of stuff with Grotto, so we should be seeing all these key cards each turn. The thing that I want to make sure that I'm doing now is maintaining my ability to see both Grottos. And so if you recall, one of the ways to do that is to trash each turn, and right now I'm actually kind of not entirely set up to do that. I'm going to want to start playing the Courtier for plus buy pretty soon, which means taking a buy and a gold rather than action and gold. And so I'm actually going to need the village to keep playing this broker that is trashing the coppers. So there we go. So you got to play village, reveal whatever for gain a gold and +1 buy. Sheepdogs can react; they're drawing. You may have noticed that all of our stuff was in hand to start out. We had the Courtier, we had the Bald Village, we had the Broker, we had the Sheepdogs. So setting aside 4 coppers, trash that. And just kind of continuing to build up the draw. We could take sheepdogs here. Probably this is something like sheepdog. Could even be another broker. We're going to be pulling in a lot of gold. But right now I'm kind of looking more at improving economy. I guess Courtier will do that okay. Could probably just be 2 sheepdogs. Let's really make sure that we are drawing. Gold. Buy. Draw up deck, set aside 4, and at this point you can see we're basically setting aside these 4 coppers each turn. As we continue to now expand the deck, we're trashing a copper each time. We're adding draw each time. We're seeing everything, and so this is where you're really seeing that kind of end game ideal where we're able to not just playing the cards here. This endgame ideal where maybe I should take an extra buy this turn, where we're setting aside these same things each turn. We're drawing deck, and we're very consistent. Like, this is kind of a funky drawing method. We have to stick a gainer together with a bunch of sheepdogs, and it's just no problem at all. It happened last turn, it happened this turn. It's turn 10. Everything is looking really amazing. So there's Grotto doing its thing, just as we described. There's a couple of other Grotto games that I've recorded over time. I'm going to put links to those in the description here, so if you want to see a bit more, you can check those out, see the full game played out. I'm just going to basically search through my videos and put everything that says Grotto in it down there. And so hopefully this will clarify or make it more obvious why Grotto is just this absolutely amazing card that it is, and what it does. So see you all.